got this. I'm about to start.
I think that's skin because of the baby. I doubt it's your stomach.
I'm gonna keep this.
They say kangaroo pouch. You act like your baby just old.
She won.
And
go away.
oh no.
Hey, you guys. That's the real. Hey, you guys. Welcome to another episode of With This Ring. Because there's so much more to it, even after the ring.
Yes.
I'm Whitney.
I'm Giddy.
And we're your hosts, so welcome. Welcome back. So let's just jump right into it. Okay, so this episode in particular is just discuss about timing.
Yeah.
You know, we hear a lot about, oh my God, you rushed into that, and oh my goodness, you waited too long. And so we're going to discuss, is there a real good time to know a person and to get married? Okay, so are you guys ready for it? You ready for it?
Okay.
My ex-husband and I knew each other 9 months. We got married, and this is my second marriage now.
No,
so
leap of faith.
yeah. Then you have my husband. Now I met him, and I'm gonna give the exact timing. I met him in October. We started dating in December. By February, we stayed together. By May, I was pregnant. By November, I was engaged. That same month, we got married, and we've been married ever since.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been blissful, and I wouldn't have done it any other way. But we got two different scenarios that happened there. What happened? Is it the thing with timing? Can you ever know a person really?
I don't think it was timing. I really think it was more about the individuals in that equation. You get what I mean? This is my belief, you guys. And like I said, how you just said you go about, you're going off of your life experience. What I'm going to say is off of my life experience. It wasn't like me and my husband, we started off as friends. I would consider Ken my best friend. I was not trying to get Ken. I was not trying to chase or even pursue Ken. You know what I mean? It just happened. We were at a crossroads. Are we going to stay in this relationship, or are we going to get married? Like it was like either we break up or we're going to stay in this relationship, but we're going to stay and get married. You get what I mean? That was the decisions. Certain things that was imperfect about him for me to kind of be like, I don't think I want to marry him. And it was certain things that was imperfect about me for him to think and be like, I don't know if I want to marry her. The way it worked out was there was a willingness in our heart to be what he was willing to be, what he needed to be for me. And I was willing to be what I needed to be for him. So when it came to that point, have we been at the situation where we were going to get a divorce? Yeah, probably several times.
I will hope so.
You get what I'm saying? But it was the willingness for us to, deal with it, work through it, fight through it. And I feel like at a certain point with you, it had to be a willingness that you were done. You weren't willing to go further, or he wasn't willing to do what he needed to do. Whatever it was, that willingness had stopped with somebody.
That's absolutely true. And I'm saying this to go back to my first marriage, because I fought for my marriage, and I stood, and I think I said that in the first or second episode. And I can't wait till we be able to share our testimony. But the thing is that I didn't want my marriage to end. And unfortunately, he ended it, and he pursued it. So that is so true. When it's up to you guys both to make that final decision. And to be honest with you, it's funny because now the tables have turned, and I found someone who fights as hard as I fight for me just as well as he fights for, I fight for him. Yeah. Like, we want this to work, and, divorce is not an option. Have we thrown it up? Yes. And the reason why you heard me say, I will hope so, is because you kind of need to get at that pinnacle to where you kind of reflect. When you throw up them divorces and stuff like that them words and stuff like that, and my mom used to always tell me, don't even mention it. But sometimes it slips. But when you do that, you kind of skim back and you reflect on things and say, dang, is it that serious?
Yeah.
Is it that bad? And you know, like, no, I don't want to go down that route. You do kind of use that as a way of saying, let me dissect this situation, see if I meant to say that, or if I really do need to get out of this situation.
Can I tell on myself real quick?
Go ahead.
Okay, so me and my husband, we just went on a trip, guys, to California, and the trip was awesome.
Y'all.
Like, it was something that we needed,
I'm gonna ask
right?
for them pictures at the end.
But anyway, we went, and literally a day before we went on this trip, we got into it, y'all. It was about just something little, but to me, it set off a trigger of something big, okay? That trigger, because I was so emotional about it, I could not at the point, I wasn't at the point where I could recognize that this was the work of the devil. I felt like if it's the work of the devil.
But you Christian.
Yeah.
You don't working on
you hear me?
You supposed to know better.
You hear me? That's gonna be all up in the comments. But anyway, block. Moving on. What I was too emotional to recognize that, and my husband would say, he was saying the whole time on the phone, you know what? I ain't finna let the devil win. I ain't finna let the devil win. And you know me, I didn't say this to him, but I was emotional. I was like, if anybody the devil, you the devil. You know, that's what I wanted to say. I'm not going. I was like, I'm not going on the trip. I'm not going. And this is my personality, y'all. When I get to a certain point where I'm upset, I don't care how much money's been spent. I don't care what people have to say. I don't care what they think. If I'm done, I'm done. Calls in the authorities, my first lady. And he calls her, and she has such like a calming voice. So she's like, good morning, Dorothy. How are you? That's my first name. How are you doing? Did you get my text message? And I was like, no. And the thing I love about her is that I could be real with her. I didn't switch it up because it was my first lady. She was like, how are you doing? I'm not doing good. So, you know, she starts giving us wisdom and starts speaking life into the situation. The thing that she said was, you guys are at work. Guys, go to work and address this later. When she did that, you know, we listened to her. We heard the wisdom. I went to work. He went to work. We didn't talk. We didn't call each other or anything. But it gave us time. It gave me time to calm down. It gave him time to think about, you know, the decision he made to set off that trigger. We seen each other when we came home. It was kind of like, you know what? He was like, what do I need to do to fix this? And I was like, okay, this is this and this is this. And it was like something simple, but like I said, it set off a trigger with me. We just need to talk and, you know, communicate. And, you know, we did we said what we needed to say, and we fixed what we needed to fix. My emotions was getting ready to put me to a point where I was going to miss out on the blessing of the trip. And you guys, there was a lot of stuff we did that I didn't know we were going to do, you know. And if I would have stayed in my emotion, I would have missed out on everything we did. And y'all, we did a lot. I'm going to remember for the rest of my life the stuff we did on this trip. I'm going to remember that for the rest of my life, you know. When it comes to decisions and emotions, like the little counting to 10 or whatever you do, just try to do whatever you can, you know. When you guys are arguing, call a timeout. Do whatever you need to do, you know. Yeah. Because we don't know how close our blessing is.
In regards to the timing and knowing someone, the thing is that he knew Dee. He didn't let off of her, you know. And then he came back and said, okay, let me rectify this situation because if I handle it like this, we're not gonna be. So the thing is that, you know, going back to the beginning, it takes time to get to know a person, but you still never know a person.
Because we're constantly growing.
You feel me? So the thing is that I don't know if you've seen on CNN and all these other networks, you're like, oh my God, I didn't know Johnny was a rapist. You've been with Johnny.
I hate her.
He's such a loving mother. But he's messing with Dorothy Ann.
cut his grass all the time.
That's all I see.
That's all he was a loving father.
You know, you've been knowing these people for 10, 20 years.
Yeah.
So my thing is, when it aligns up with what the Lord designed for you, it's no time. God knows no time.
Yeah.
That's why He does stuff and it be out of time. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
He's on time, but His timing. We can be so hell bent on timing, like, oh my God, like I need to know Him for this long. I need to wait for this long. And when it's God's timing, He makes it happen. And I wanted to, not necessarily tell my story, but I wanted to share a testimony. Here's my testimony.
All right.
Okay, so many of you may or may not know, but at the age of 16, I got pregnant. Okay, my mom wasn't. The thing wasn't that my mom wasn't there and I was a latchy kid. No, I was a very intelligent young lady, so intelligent enough to the point to where I could lie to my mom and say,
Yeah.
"Mom, I'm going to my friend's house," and I wasn't. And I was going to a little boy house. So we got the stereotype that, you know, a lot of these 16 and pregnant girls or pregnant young ladies are these latchkey, hot-tail girls, to be quite honest with you, and we do need to educate our youth. I was very oblivious to the fact. Excuse my French, didn't know any of my body parts down there. I didn't know how it really functioned or worked. I was a late bloomer. I got my cycle later into my, age. So I didn't really know my body like that. I didn't understand really the function of it, and when I got into that environment, I wasn't thinking I could get pregnant. I didn't really know how that would really work or whatnot. I just know that he was cute, I was cute, we wanted to hump, and that's what happened. Well, time went on, and I discovered that I was pregnant. And I was 16 years old. Did it for a while because I was ashamed.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I wasn't a dumb kid. I was highly intelligent, AV honor roll. I was cheerleader. I was track. I was popular. Everybody knew me.
Mm-hmm.
So for this to be happening, it was kind of like a kick in my gut. It was a slap in my mom's face, and everybody knew that Whitney was going to be successful. She was going to be greater than everyone in the family, so to speak. Thank you. And like I stated, many of you guys aren't aware. Well, I mean, you probably are. You probably heard through grapevine. You probably heard through me. I lost my child.
No, this is the first time I'm hearing this.
Oh, wow. Wow. Okay, well, let me shed light on you. Let me actually be a little more...
Please.
Wow.
I'm like...
Okay. Wow. Yeah, you guys at that... Well, Didi, at the age of 16, I got pregnant. And, and wow, I thought I shared this with you. This is a testimony. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm going to really give you details. I'm about to jump to it, okay? But yeah, I got pregnant at the age of 16. And so... it was hard on my family because they expected so much out of me. Yeah. I was 32 weeks. I was 8 months pregnant. I lost my son. Oh, he was a baby. He wasn't a fetus, nothing. And to this day, we do not know what happened to him. That was 2004. It's 2015. I would have a big boy by now. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. So I lost my son. So, and based on what I'm saying about timing and knowing the person and things to that nature, my mom and them didn't know that I was doing that and stuff like that, and she been knowing me all my life, and I got pregnant, and I was just like, oh dear God, and thank you, Jesus. And I say all that to say because after that, I kept getting diagnoses that I could not give birth. I could not have a child. It was like, oh, well, you lost that one. We don't know why. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if you're aware about the Dallas area, but I don't know if you guys remember Medical City off of 30. It's closed down now. Mm-hmm. They had a lot of malpractice suits and lawsuits going on that I wasn't aware of. I was 16 years old. So I didn't know that, That's where I had my baby, and I lost him, and they could have saved him. Yeah. That's the horrible thing about it. They could have saved him because I went into early distress. His heartbeat was faint. I didn't know, but now that I think about it, I'm like, whoa, it was very faint. It took them about 5-10 minutes to find his heartbeat. Mm-hmm. And so, with all that being said, they were just like, oh, well, let's send you home. You're probably in early labor, which is expected. You're small and framed. Just go home, put your feet up. That was Friday, and they was like, we're gonna bring you back next week to give you a sonogram to make sure everything's good. Within that Friday and that Wednesday, my baby died. Yeah. So when I went back in that Wednesday to get checked up, I was having contractions and didn't know. And they were like, "Do you feel that?" And I was like, "Yeah." I thought it was Braxton Hicks, as you guys know about that. And it wasn't. I was in early labor and I didn't know. They checked for his heartbeat. It was gone. He was deceased. And he came out. I actually had a natural labor with him. They induced me. I didn't have an epidural, nothing. I experienced him going, through my body and out my body. And I got told for years that I could not have a child and, it would be hard. So then I get married to my first husband. We get pregnant. 6 weeks later, I lost that child. And then, I was just like, oh, it's hard. It's not going to ever, work out. And that's why it's all about God's timing. And I get back to this, and when it's all aligned, when it's divine, and when it's for you and your timing. And I thought you were aware, but this is a true life moment, you guys. Met my husband, boyfriend at the time, and it was just something about him. I just, we connected across the room, and like you said, I wasn't looking for nobody myself, but I met him and thank God for him. And so I was just like, whatever, buddy, but it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard. Well, like I said, I showed y'all that time period from meeting him to getting with child, and I mean, it was a very enduring pregnancy because I was so scared that I was gonna lose her. And so 6 weeks into it, I was like, okay, she's still there. Okay. 30 weeks into it, I was like, okay, she's there. I was like, oh, 32 weeks. Oh, she's still there. Yeah. Oh my God, 33. Oh, we're going to make it all the way. Yeah. And we ended up having my beautiful daughter, Demi Dariana Davis. And 39 weeks, they took her a week early just to make sure, precaution. I said all of that to share my testimony with you guys.
And that was an awesome testimony.
It's not about what the doctors say. It's not about what your friends say. It's about God's divine timing for you. And what he has for you is for you. You can have that child when it's his time. And I wanted to say that, and actually that was what I wanted to say, to tell on myself. I had unprotected sex many a time with many guys, and I never got pregnant. And and that's what made me say, okay, they're right. I can't get pregnant because I had been in relationships to where we were trying and nothing happened. And miracle baby, and I had her naturally. I had no epidural, nothing. I had her naturally. They induced me.
I promise you, the day I get pregnant, I'm precautioning everybody. I'm letting them know. You better give me as many drugs you want to. Oh. If you want this hospital still up and running by the time I'm done, where the IVs at? Where the V's at? Hey. Where the V's at?
It's about timing, and you're gonna forever grow and learn one another. I've been with my husband, it'll be going on 2 years this year. And I'm still learning stuff about him. I'm like, I thought you liked this. He's like, nah, I never liked that. Oh, okay.
And what's crazy is like how you guys got married and it was a short amount of time. And me and Ken, we were together 8 years before we got married. So it's kind of, but I have an aunt. She was married to, she met her husband. They got married in a week. And so literally, like they met. And then sometime in between those 7 days, they got married. And this woman was with him, stayed with him until he died. He passed, And they were together forever. Like, I can probably say they were together about 50 years, And I asked her, I was like, well, how long, how did you stay married to him for 50 years? Our family, the women were very strong-minded. So I wanted to know, how did you do that? And she just was like, it was God. And she was like, it's crazy because she was like, once you get to the point where you are in pride, she was like, that's the danger zone. She was like, let him win some arguments. You ain't got to say everything that come to your head. You ain't got to talk back. She was like, watch your body language. She was just giving me these little tidbits. And sometimes when I'm getting to that point where she calls the red zone, I hear her voice, but I really think it's the Holy Spirit. But because I look up to my aunt, it comes in her voice because it's an authority. She's an authority to me. And because some stuff, my husband, I don't care, but I look I look like I care because I want that conversation with him. I want him to know that he could come talk to me about anything, even if I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I think God's timing goes for everything. I don't think I do think this. I do think that you should see a person through all seasons.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to call all seasons a year, I believe that whatever all seasons is, God, the Holy Spirit will tell you what all seasons are. But what I'm saying, all seasons, I think you need to experience that person when they're mad, when they're happy, when they're down, crying, and when they're up, whatever that is. You need to see them through all seasons, and then I feel that you should be able to say, okay, this is the one I need to marry, you know? But once you guys get married, there's really no timing, how many years you should be together. I feel that everything is a leap of faith. Just once you get into the marriage, just know that you have to keep that heart, that willingness, that, you know, anything that's going to stop you from having a willing heart, address it. You know, so if it's bitterness, if it's hurt, you know, whatever happened, address it and work to make sure you guys are on the same page as much as you can be. You're not going to be all the time, but as much as you can be.
Well, I think that was good, you guys. And we're about to wrap it up. But before we wrap it up, we're going to go and take a look at some of our sponsors. We'll be right back.
What's on your head? If it isn't Tiara's hair extension services, then it ain't right. Tiara's hair services provides Peruvian, Malaysian, Brazilian, Raw Temple Indian, and even Cambodian. Oh, and you can get your closures and frontals too. Get your bundles, hunty, so you can say, Tiara's hair extension services are on my head.
Welcome back, you guys. We're about to wrap this thing up and give you another juicy segment. So my little tidbit is that you will never have enough time to know somebody. So you waiting on that to make stuff right as far as a marriage and stuff like that. Good luck with that. So don't listen to what everybody else tell you. You need to see God and see what He has for your life, because like she said, she was about to miss out on a trip.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Taking it her way, you know? So don't take it your way. Take it God's way and seek Him for what He needs to do in your life.
My little tidbit for this segment is not really a tidbit. It's something for Whitney. I want to tell you that I want to thank you so much for sharing that testimony, because that was, maybe not to you, but it was very powerful for me because of the fact that, you know, we've been around each other, we didn't talk, been on the phone for hours, and I did not know that because of the way you live.
Because people don't know my story, you know what I'm saying? And it's so many people out there that deal with this and they just, you know, sweep it on the rug, and they don't know that it's strength in speaking your truth and identifying it, but moving forward.
Yeah.
Moving beyond it.
And the thing is that like I think, like, while you were talking, I was really thanking God, because like it's certain things in my life that I still need healing from, but to see you to be able to say that and tell your testimony, like it's like I'm seeing the power of healing. You get what I mean? And I really thank you so much for just sharing that testimony.
Thank you.
So that's my tidbit, y'all. I didn't want to really add anything to that, but that just meant a lot to me.
Well, I just want to say and to end that all, I just want to but thank you guys for allowing me this platform to actually be able to give my testimony. And like I said, it's so much more that's built up in me that when God sees fit for me to bring it out, I will.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to say that if you are a mother or a father that have witnessed stillborn or losing your child, know that there's hope beyond it, and don't give up faith, don't give up hope, because you know I was there. And I got told by medical doctors that, oh, you can't bear children if you went through this and you're going through this. But God, my little Demi, you may see her, and I may throw a little pic of her at the end of this video, but she's
You have
living.
to. She's beautiful.
I will, y'all. I
You have
will.
to.
She's a terror. But she is beautiful. She's healthy, and I mean, I just remember just hearing that you're not gonna be able to. And I cried. I was like, Lord, why won't you allow me to bear children? And I just want to share this before we wrap it up. But to be honest with you, Dee, and I don't know if this is weird, but I want to birth as many children, for one, that the Lord will allow me, but for His kingdom. I don't want to have children because they're cute, or I just want to show a God-fearing child that you can raise a child up in His authority and His divine will, and it will work. It's like a lot of people are afraid to raise their children up in Christianity and not for the world. Many of people don't know this. My daughter's ears are not pierced. And they're like, are you going to get your daughter's ears pierced? No, why? Who said that? Who said they got to be pierced? Where did we get that stigma? He said not to do that to your body. So I want to allow her, just like tattoos, to have that choice too, if you want to inflict it, but let me give you some understanding in regards to that. So I really, going through, you know, being a first-time mom and experiencing things that I've taken, then take from my own mother, it makes me reevaluate the situation. To be honest with you, all that time that God didn't allow my children and my child to be here built up preparation for this very moment, to where I have my child and I can reanalyze some situations to say, oh, I'm not going to do this, oh, I'm going to try this, you know. And so just know that it's a reason as to why there's loss. But you're going to gain. You're going to gain. And my son came and he had a purpose. He made mama stronger. I didn't know what I would have done at 16 years old giving birth to a child. I thought I was prepared, but I was a child myself. You know, and I couldn't very well imagine how life would have been for me, you know, if he would have been living. But he came and he was wonderful, and I still love him to this day, and I can't wait to meet him, you know. And I really believe that, you know, he was up there with Demi, because Demi came down like, well, it's about time. You gotta have a daddy so I can come out of here. I just want to say, you gotta stay strong, you know, and stay encouraged. And you guys need to talk about your pregnancy situation, and you need some encouragement, inbox me, leave it down in the comments. And just check out our resources in the description. Yes, and we thank you so very much. We're very gracious for our viewers. Subscribe, share, and just let us know what you guys think. And know that it's hard, but it's worth it, because it's so much more to it
than a ring.
And even after the ring. You guys have a wonderfully blessed night. We love you. We're signing off. I'm sorry, I didn't know you.